This right here, on this computer screen right here, make sure everyone gets a chance to look. This is a computer model. I have to look at this type of stuff to try and forecast
stand back
the
here.
weather.
Alexander, come stand back here.
Okay, so once you get a look at this screen, you can go ahead and rotate. This is where I make my graphics here. I have to go through and I have to edit all the numbers that are in there and take a look at all of that. So I have to go through this whole thing and make my whole show. And then this computer screen right here is our radar. So you can see where there's those little specks of green, that's where it's raining right now. Okay? Yes. Do what? Yes. No, it happens on the Weather Channel. But Al Roker is also on the Today Show. So Wake Up with Al's Weather Channel, and he also does the Today Show. Yes.
Why is it always like the recent stuff? Like
It's called a loop. So it's showing what's happened over the past hour. So it's from the past hour to now. So that way you can see which way the rain's moving.
yeah.
Okay? Yes. A lot of green.
And then red.
Yeah, these are all what I have to look at to figure out what the weather's going to do. It's a lot of stuff, right? Yeah. It takes a lot of stuff. All right. Let's move out of the way and let others come up and take a look real quick. No. This is actually mean up here. That just means precipitation in general. So rain, snow, whatever. All right. So this is when I was talking about those computer models. This is what I'm looking at. Looks like a big mess, doesn't it? Yeah. They each mean something different. Each map means something different. Here is where I actually make my graphics, and I can go through my show here and take a look at stuff. I have to change the numbers in there. Anything that's not a current temperature, I have to change in this. So anything that's forecasting, I have to change. So today's highs, or tomorrow's highs, or anything of that sort, I have to go in here and change. That computer right there is the radar. And so you see the green specks there, that's the rain, and it's showing where it's moving over the past hour. Yeah, so it's moving off to the northeast. Okay? All right. Yeah. Okay. Who else hasn't gotten to come over here and look real quick? Joshua, you've already seen. Go ahead and back out. Wait, Zach, have you seen?
Alexander, check your fingers off.
Anybody else need to come over and check this out? Everybody seen it? We all good? Okay. All right. Let's go sit back down real quick. Go ahead.
Oh, you sure? Go ahead.
From here. On that door.
You want one?
It's a great toy.
So you run over your fingers with it. I'm pretty sure it weighs like 100 pounds.
Thank you very much. All right. So what do you think I have to study in order to become a meteorologist? Yeah, but more general, like subjects in school. What do you learn in school? Yeah, I have to know how to talk, right? What else? Maybe a little bit of social studies. Science, big one. What else?
Math.
Math is a huge one, believe it or not. I didn't realize that until I went to college. I had no idea how much math was involved in meteorology. I had to take the same math classes that engineers had to take.
Classes.
Yeah.
They made their own classes.
Mostly everything. And when I went to college, I had to take math classes. You know how you take classes in school right now? Like you have math, and you have science, and you have maybe spelling and English and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Same deal when you go to college, but I had to take some really, really hard math classes when I went to college. So after I graduated high school, I went to college for 4.5 years and then got my degree in meteorology. So if you want to do anything science related, doesn't have to be meteorology, it could be something else. You better study your science and your math really, really good because you're going to need it. Okay? Yeah. So, I I've been here about 2.5 years now at this particular station. I worked in Texas before that, and before that I worked in Pennsylvania. So this is the kind of job, this is the kind of job where you have to move around quite a bit to get where you want to go, or just to, find a different position or check things out. And weather is different all over the country, right? Doesn't snow very often here, does it? Though it did when? In February?
Yeah,
Just like one time, right?
no, it's like
Once or twice, yeah. So it doesn't snow very often here, but back in Pennsylvania it snowed a lot. And back in Texas it actually snowed too, believe it or not. But it was also very hot, like 100 degrees hot in the summertime. So that's what's cool about being able to travel to different places, yeah.
Why is the tape on?
There's what?
Tape on.
The tape is on the floor. This is a very good question. Because we move different parts of our sets around, and the cameras go where the X's are. And sometimes the X's stand for where people need to stand as well. So they will move different sets around. Like this one right here can move to right here. It can move to right here, depending on what they want to do with the camera shots. So all of that moves. This desk that you're sitting in front of, it actually rotates. So if you look up at the ceiling,
Good morning,
Can we
folks.
turn the
We're taking
studio
a look
audio
over
off?
Myrtle Beach on this Saturday, October
31?
19th.
Thank
I'm
you.
Theo Hayes here with the latest developments
recorded it
from your live local lake drinking station.
The,
Agencies across the county are making it harder for those under 21 to get their hands on alcohol. Officers will be undercover this weekend to
So
make
we
sure
recorded
local
this about
businesses are
8:30 this
checking
morning.
IDs.
This
The large
Friday.
number of tourists in our area can make it hard to validate
Get into the
IDs.
studio
Many
audio.
bars in Myrtle Beach have an ID checking guide, and
So
that
that's what we
guide shows
recorded
what
earlier.
each state's ID looks like, along with other guidelines.
Otherwise, we do them live.
When you check IDs,
So, anyways, the desk here, if you look up on the ceiling, you see these things that say WMBF News. See it above that desk back there? And look over to your left. There's another one that says WMBF News. Behind this TV monitor, and there's one that says weather. So what they can do is, they can turn this desk so it will back up against each one of these little shields up above. So it changes the set. Now if the weather's going to be bad, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see the weather center in the background of the newscast. So if the weather's bad, you're going to see that. Okay? So they can shift that around based on whatever they want to do. And each one of these like monitors over here, you see people stand in front of here, you see people stand in front of here, you see people stand in front of that monitor, and the 3 over here, back in the weather center. Yeah. So there's a lot of things we can do in here, and because we have all these desks in here, the producers sit in here, the people who write the news, the assignment desk editor sits in here, he has probably the worst job of anyone, I think. He's constantly answering the phone, listening to pre-scanners, calling everybody, making sure everybody's story's set up, make sure they're allowed to be on that property. He does everything. He does everything. This is another set that we move around. So don't step on this, okay? Because you'll probably slide around. So don't step on that. Okay? Yeah, but that was from earlier. But you guys are going to get to kind of play on the TV a little bit here. Not for real, but you guys are going to get to see what it's like. Who has any weather questions that they want to answer? Yes. We're going to check that out in a second. We'll get to that in a second. Tornadoes normally happen in the spring and sometimes in the summer, but they can honestly happen any month of the year. So it's not just, May, June, July. It can happen any time of the year.
The way is for so you don't slip.
Yeah, you don't want to step on that. Go ahead.
There was a tornado coming through.
Was there? Ah.
When was the tornado?
Yes.
Sometimes there was a tornado in Cameron Village.
Yes, there was.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was in June.
I remember that.
Yep.
And I live right across from it.
Did you see it? Yeah?
Oh, no, I wasn't there. Just on the video.
Just on the news later?
The tornado was by big circle clouds.
Yeah, what happens is the tornado forms, it's obviously a big rotating storm, right? And what happens is the cloud blowers, that's called your wall cloud. And that's from which the tornado will eventually decide to form, from that wall cloud. Okay? Any other weather questions to be answered? Since you're here to learn about weather. Anyone? Anyone? No questions about weather? Really? Yes.
Yeah, is it going to be cold?
It's quite possible. It's going to be a little chilly at the end of next week.
We saw that.
Yeah, lows in the 40s.
And beyond that,
I don't go too far ahead. I'm not a climatologist. I don't look into that as much. I'm more of the day-to-day type weather. Because there's a lot of different things you can do with meteorology. It's not just be on TV. Did you know that? Hey, shh. You gotta pay attention. Okay? There's a lot of different things you can do with meteorology, not just TV. There are people who work for the government. There are people who work for private companies. There are people who work for insurance companies that are meteorologists. Any idea why? No?
I don't know.
You have no idea?
I just
Hold on. We'll get to your question in a second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Meteorologists also work for insurance companies because when there's bad weather or natural disasters of some sort, they have to look at what areas are, have the most risk involved. So they work for insurance companies too. So they work all over the place, not just in TV. Okay, you had a question. Go ahead.
What was the hottest day ever in North Carolina?
I don't know actually. It was definitely in the 100s, I'll tell you that. For sure. Easily.
What happens if someone's going in the sky and you can't see it and you don't know?
Do what?
What happens if something's about to come and you don't know it's there?
What do you mean if you don't know it's there?
Yeah, like what happens the news people don't know it and like a tornado's there when it's still up in the sky and then it comes.
Well, that's why we look at radar, okay? Because when you look at the radar, what's happening is that green that you're seeing on the radar, what's happening is the radar is sending out a beam, and when it hits raindrops, it reflects back to the radar. And that's what you're seeing, the green on the radar. But it also looks at the wind within those rain storms and everything like that. And it can detect, the radar can detect when the winds are going one way and when they're going the other. And when they're going two opposite directions, that's when you have the potential for some rotation or maybe even a tornado to form. So that's why we use the radar to detect that. Yes?
In the tornado, things can also form by cold front
You have to have certain ingredients in order for that to happen. You have to have moisture. Usually it happens on humid days. Okay? You have to have moisture. You have to have something that's going to lift the clouds up into the air. Okay, which would be a cold front or a warm front. And you have to have instability. So that atmosphere has to be really unstable. And that's what starts those thunderstorms. But yes, there has to be something that's going to make the storm form in the first place in order to get that going.
At my house, one time, a lightning struck all the way in the sky, and then it went all the way down my neighborhood.
Yeah, this is a good starting point. If you hear thunder, what are you supposed to do?
Go inside.
Yeah, why?
Because it's being thunder, guys, it can kill you.
Yeah, if you hear thunder, lightning is close enough to strike. So that means you need to go inside. I don't care if you're in the middle of your baseball game or whatever. It's time to go inside.